A very good afternoon to you and welcome. Today we're going to be attempting to put some of that into that, onto that. We're going to be bulk loading. What are the benefits? Well, saving maybe a couple of pounds, $3, $4, something like that, on a roll of film. And I'm saying this today as Kodak have recently reduced their prices, which is fantastic news. But it seemed a little bit ironic that I'm talking about bulk loading, but it's the same thing. You know, if a Kodak roll of this costs $200 and now costs $150, it follows down that the prices of their single unit films will be reduced as well. So you're still going to be saving money. But one of the other things, of course, that's brilliant about this sort of stuff is the fact that it's so convenient. It's almost like you've got your own tap of film. And not only that, but you can precision load. You can load on however much or however little film you want. If you're, for example, going out and just shooting something and you're not going to be taking many shots and you want to develop it pretty much when you get home, then you don't have to wait till the end of the roll of 36 exposures to do that. Also, I guess if you're buying a camera and you want to check check it for light leaks, you can just roll on 10 exposures of film and not waste a whole roll of film doing it. You know, all sorts of things, you know, depending on your any given situation. I say attempting to load, and I think this is going to be the fun part. I've never done this before, so I'm going to attempt in one take. Other than a few cutaways for clarity purposes, this here now is going to be one take. And I kind of wanted to do it not as a gimmick, but to show you how either easy or incredibly fiddly it is. We're going to be doing it here, so I'm not going to be moving. I've got my dark bag. This is a Patterson large. So hands are going to be going through here. This is what I develop my films in, and I'm going to be loading the thing from down here. But before we do that, just arrived in the post, unopened, which I've been waiting for to do this vlog, are hopefully some film reels or cassettes. I think this is them anyway. Yes. Hoorah. Okay. Now, five. Yeah, that's right. So, the reason I'm mentioning this or flagging this up before talking about the bulk loader or anything else is that you have two options. You can either reuse a roll. This is a Delta 400. You can reuse that because I've left a little tab there to tape some more film onto. Or there are these little things that are reusable. However, a couple of weeks ago I should say, I bought 20 and they were awful. I opened the box and they were all there, but there was 1,000 little bits of felt that had come off, and that alerted my attention. I thought, that's not right. And lo and behold, the felt, the light type trap that they implement here, There were just lots of bits flaying off and what have you. So I kind of picked at it a little bit to try and loosen all the stray stuff, but it kept on coming. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be using that in my camera. It's all going to come off each time I wind on. Some film is going to transport and then potentially flake off a little bit of horrible felt, which will get caught in your camera mechanism and cause yeah, don't want to be doing that at all. So, you know, it was when I went online, I bought them online. There's 100 different Chinese companies that you can buy them from, no particular known make. So I think it was very much trial and error. I wanted to keep that to show you, but you know, I had to return them. So these, I'm sort of talking and looking very intently. It's just like a normal cassette, but it's plastic. You can get metal ones, but I see absolutely no sign of felt deterioration. Just want to make sure that that's going on properly. Yep. They look okay. Now, how long these last, I don't know. You know, I think you just have to play it by ear. They're not indestructible by any stretch of the imagination. I would imagine, you know, 10 to 15 times. But you know, it's one of those things I think you just have to keep an eye on. As soon as you start seeing, you know, when you're putting the film into the canister and then loading it, and you know, these plastic things seem really, really cool. Like, it's a really good system. You know, just turn the end bit and you're light tight, hopefully. So yeah, just something you have to keep your eye on. But maybe I think I'm going to load some onto one of these, perhaps. It's exactly the same thing. Instead of taping, where are we? Where did I put that? Oh yeah. Instead of taping some bulk roll film to here, I'm just going to be taping it to here, to the core, which is, you know, the same as that one. That's what's inside this one. It's exactly the same. I'm just going to be taping it to here. So maybe I'll do yeah, I'll show you both. I'll show you both. Why not? That's assuming that I can get this Ilford Delta 400, 30 meters, I think it is, 30.5 meters, 100 foot of film onto here successfully. Drum roll. Yeah, it doesn't seem inordinately difficult. It just looks maybe a little bit fiddly, and hopefully there won't be too many problems. That all seems clean. Maybe I should check in the box, because that's where, yeah, that's absolutely clean. So that's, yeah, that's confidence inspiring, isn't it? But just be mindful of that. Do not load film onto plastic canisters if you're, you know, check out the felt. There are obviously different grades of felt, aren't there? Yeah. Just a little heads up there. So, what do we need? We need some scissors. We need some tape. What that's doing there. And we need some film, obviously. You can get this from Ilford, you can get this from lots of places, and they do HP5, which is a lot cheaper than Delta. I did pull some prices off. Let's have a look here. What have we got? Yeah, Delta is, as of this, the date of this vlog, £127, which is probably about 160-ish dollars. We've got XP2, which is £124. Delta 100, £127, and Pan F, £121.90. But Delta 400, that's what this is, £127, versus HP5 Plus, which is £71.14, which equates to about $90, I think, ish. HP5 Plus film, a single canister, i.e. this, already loaded, what is it today, £8.50, $10 or $11, something like that. So yeah, I'm going to use a little bit of it. Let's actually get this out. So out of the box, instruction manual. I've already read that. It's all pretty simple. I'm going to give you a little overview, but it's all quite, actually, it's common sense really. The reason I went for this one, this is a new one, is because I don't trust, or it's not I don't trust second-hand sellers, it's that I don't know if they're light tight or not. And I'm not prepared to spend good money, 100 foot of film, and realise that the thing isn't light tight. That's a very expensive mistake to make, which I want to avoid. So I went new. These, well, depending on where you live, I suppose, but they've gone up in price hugely. I've had this for a few months now, and I'm sure I paid about £50–60 for it. I looked online for this vlog, and they're about £80–90–100, depending where you get them. Again, seems a lot of money. I thought £60 was a lot of money for it, to be honest. Because in essence, the reason why I went for it is, one, I know it's going to be light tight. It hasn't been knocked around and misused, and I don't, not knowing the history and all that kind of insecurity. But also, there are different makes, and this one just seemed the simplest, in so much that when you take the back off here, you just unscrew there, unscrew that, take it off. You look inside, it's just absolutely, it's just empty. It's just one big empty space. Whereas the other manufacturers had cogs and various things that when you're in the dark room or in the dark bag, which so you can't see what you're doing, I thought that's going to be a bit fiddly, trying to lead film through different cogs. This, you just whack your film in there, and I don't know if you can see, there's just a section there where your fingers can feel, and you just put the leader up there, and it comes up out through here. So in there, that's that little handle that you wind on with. I'll show you that in a second. Film in there. How difficult can that be? I don't know. Not done it before, so I'd imagine anything for the first time is going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit. Let's get some dust out of there. We'll give it a little bit of a blow, and then feed it through here, and it's just going to come out here. Again, felt. It's the order of the day, and that's what's going to keep it light tight. I've just put a few labels on there to remind me that when I'm loading my film, to make sure that this bit is the right way, like so. Feed it through there and then wind on. So yeah, that's, we're talking of winding on. This is the side section. I'll take that out. And that actually locks this door. It's a locking mechanism. When that is in, you can't open that. You have your counter here, so as you wind however many films, this tells you how much film is left in here. And this thing gives you you just line up the two arrows to begin with, the two white arrows, if you can see that, and wind on, and it clicks. So every click is one frame. Pretty simple. Sorry, I should have said this is AP. AP, yeah. I think it's exactly the same as Kaiser. Don't know whether Kaiser make these for AP or vice versa. I don't know. And this little contraption here zeroes it. So as you're loading a brand new fresh reel of film, set that to 0, and that puts your needle back to 0, so it can count off. And then this thing, this little wheel here, is just a little wheel that rolls your film out or back in. So that's all cool. I've put a little reminder here as well, Ilford Delta, that's what I've got in here. And obviously if I change to HP5, which I will be at some point after I've pulled off 18 rolls of film, because that's how many you get with 100 foot, then I'll change this. And that should, that should be a perfectly good reminder. If you're using reused canisters, you can get them from your lab. They very often give you them for free. Quite happy to get rid of them, to be honest, because they're probably knee deep in them. But you're going to encounter lots of different makes of film. So it's very important to get organised and make sure that you know what you've loaded onto what reel and what kind of stock it is, what kind of film it is, and what you exposed it by. It can get a little bit, confusing. So again, I'm going to use some gaff tape just to make sure. Rip a bit of that off, just like I have done on the front of the film canister. This stuff, cheap as chips, but it's more money that you have to factor in, because obviously if you're going to save money, you're not going to save money initially because you've got the initial upfront costs of buying this thing. So I reckon by the third reel of film you should be just about in profit, depending on how careful you are. 18 rolls is what they say approximately, but if you're a bit slapdash and not paying attention and you waste film, then it's going to be less than that, obviously. So so yeah, get some sort of organisation or method to how you do stuff. I'm going to be using that, I think, for any film I've shot from this reel, just so I know it's separate from my stock film that I've already bought. That I have a method for, tried and tested. I've got some waiting to go here, so waiting to be developed, and I always put whatever I need on that, dates and even what camera I used. I shot that with an f3, and I also put a bit of film in there, a bit of paper in there with other information. So I just want to, it's not digital, so it's not going to record stuff for me. And you'll notice that I also leave the leader out. That's a bit too far out, really. Well, it's fine, but I can reuse that. I can reuse the canister once I've taken it off the reel and developed it. I've still got the canister and I've still got these things to keep it light tight. That's the other thing you want. Not, you know, if you're buying these plastic ones, then keep these as well, so that you can pop them into a light tight chamber. So yeah, just have a system. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you understand it, and you can organize it, because that sort of stuff, I mean, I've never even heard of that. Tudor, it's 35mm, obviously, ISO 400. Oh, it's color print film. I don't use color, so, but you can bulk load with color as well. Just so you know. The tape that I use is Scotch, and I think that's, talking of organisation, getting a little bit confusing right here. I just have that so I can rip it off and I'm not faffing around. Thought that would be a good way to go. But this stuff is apparently really good. That's all you need. Sellotape can be a bit brittle sometimes, apparently. This stuff is really, really good. So basically, when you tape the film to the core, or either to here or to a core part of the canister, you don't want that coming off. Every time you wind on, that's pressure on the tape. This stuff is apparently, by all accounts, extremely good. So yeah, that's the way I've gone. What else? Just clearing the decks a little bit here. Let's have a go at putting some film in. I'm kind of nervous now. So yeah, let's do it. I'm going to take my watch off just so I can get my hands through the bag. I've sort of familiarized myself with this pretty well, I think. It's all going to be touch feel, basically. So in this goes, in this goes. There's going to be a bit of fumbling for sure. Hopefully no catastrophes. Doing things on camera. Where are we? Okay, there. I don't think I'm going to need scissors for this. Just a bit of confidence, maybe, he says. So, back of the loader off. You can hear me turning that wheel. Okay, that's cool. I'm just going to familiarize myself with that. Yeah. There's a definite ridge and a wheel that you can feel with your fingertips, so you know where the leader of the film needs to go. So I'm just placing the bulk loader in the right position for me. And then I know there's a little plastic, there we go. Okay, I'm now taking the film out of the box. This cannot be done in low light. It cannot be done in red or orange or yellow light that you get in dark rooms. This has to be done in pitch black. Okay. Okay. plastic bag, I think, is out with the film in it, and then out the film comes, holding it by its edges, just moving stuff down to the bottom of the bag so it's out the way. Okay, so immediately I have the edge, the leader part of the film. Just running my fingertip around the edge so I know that that is in fact the leader. And then I'm trying to, it's actually stuck down in a certain kind of way. I'm trying to prise that free. Okay, that's free now. It's obviously taped down in some way, so yes it is. So I'm just going to undo or peel that tape off, stick it down to the bag, and I can take that out later. I don't want any gubbins getting in the way of feeding the film through. I want it to be a nice clean film only. Without taking off the leader. Yeah, that's coming off quite easily, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to turn the film round, and I'm not going to put the film in. I'm not going to put the roll of film in. I'm going to take the leader of the film and try and just take some, pull some off the reel, and I'm just going to try and with my thumb I'm going to just try and thread this through. I might go a bit quiet here just because I wouldn't need to concentrate. Okay, so I would say 10-15 minutes later, I think I'm there. A lot of faffing. No great discovery. I can't say, oh, I wasn't doing that properly, and therefore I'm almost a little bit sort of almost thinking I'm not going to be in a hurry to do this again. But hopefully when I take this key out, there should be some film showing. Oh yeah, more than I thought. And there we go. So I can maybe rewind some of that in now using this wheel, because I don't need that much. And now let's just go and load some film. So I think I'm going to cut this edge straight, because it does tell you to, when you're loading it, to, that should be fine. Now, what am I going to use? I said I was going to do two, so I'm going to use the new reels, the plastic canisters that have just arrived today in the post. So let's do that. I've got my tape there, and I'm going to literally just take some of that off, pop it around here like so, as square as I can. And I'm just going to put the core in and get that tape on both sides, making sure it's nice and yep, that's all cool. Okay, welcome back again. Part B, Part C. Yeah, it occurred to me that I've only ever taken film off a reel, not put it on before. So yeah, taken it off to develop it, but not put it on. So yeah, just a few little teething problems. Made a little bit of a pig's ear of it, but essentially the film's on now. It's in. It's looking like that. It's snug. The lid's down, and now what I want to do is put the crank back in, which locks this bottom, locks this lid, and then my arrows are aligned here, 2 white arrows, and then I'm just going to follow the direction. And again, I should hear clicks, hopefully. Touch wood. So the counter here for the film itself, the big one, for the big reel, is at 0 because I've zeroed it using this thing. So let's go ahead and hopefully we should hear some clicks. 1 click is 1 frame. Put my glasses on here. So that says 20. There are clicks, but they're not very loud. 25. I'm just going to go I'm going to go 35, bearing in mind that I'm probably going to lose 4 frames. So I should have 31. Yeah, so let's have a look. Take the crank out and then lift the lid up. And that looks like it's all been, yeah, that's gone swimmingly well. I'm just gonna cut that off now. Make that nice and square, and close the lid. And basically, that's my little, that's my source of film now. Keep that in a dark room, dark area. All I need to do now is pull a little bit of film out, not too much, and then make a pair of scissors. That's perhaps not enough. Just trim it to make that little insertion, and then I have an empty canister here, or which I will make empty. I could just put that in the camera now, but I'm not going to do that just yet. And that's my fresh roll of film ready to go. So, whoa, jury's out. Jury's out a little bit with it. Seems a bit faffy, a bit fiddly, but you know, if it saves money and it gives me that flexibility of however many, you know, maybe it's something that I'm just a little bit jittery about at the moment. Having attempted to do that on camera, failed badly, but once the dust has settled, maybe I'll sort of come around. I'll give you some thoughts on it as I go. Maybe I'll load up these other 4 canisters and see if it becomes a bit easier or a bit more obvious or what have you. Yeah, that's all I can say really. Hopefully that was interesting. I was hoping to for it to be a lot more positive, but those are just things that I found as I've gone. I thought it'd be interesting to try and do it. You know, if it had gone swimmingly, then there would have been thumbs up and happy days. But the fact that it isn't means that perhaps you might encounter the same kind of hurdles or what have you, and it gives you a sort of better appraisal or a better understanding of what's involved. Maybe I was just, you know, maybe I've just got big fingers. I don't think I have. Maybe I was just being a bit clumsy, or just, you know, once it went through, it's like, oh yeah, you could feel it went through. It was going through straight. You know, it was an immediate thing. Up until then, I'd just been sort of trying and trying and trying. It felt flat and it felt like it should go through, but something wasn't happening. It felt like the gate was closed or something, but it wasn't, because the crank was in there. It was definitely in there. Anyway, I've got it loaded. That's a good thing. Like I said, hope that was helpful on some level, and thanks for stopping by. See you for the next one. Cheers.